Okay, I'll call the meeting to order. Jen, will you take roll call?
I'm good now. Good. Commissioner Shaw.
Here.
Commissioner Wire.
Here.
Commissioner Waldner.
Here.
Commissioner Thill.
Here.
Mayor Denner.
Here. We have the agenda in front of us. Do I have a motion to adopt the agenda?
So move. Second.
All in. Jen, will you take roll call?
Commissioner Waldner.
Aye.
Commissioner Wire.
Aye.
Commissioner Shaw.
Aye.
Commissioner Thill.
Aye.
Mayor Denner.
Aye. Nothing under appearances and acknowledgement. We'll move down in the consent calendar. Do I have them? There is one error that I see on the airport, and I think it got changed, but it didn't get into the packet, and that was Roy Brown was present. They had Roy Brown present and absent, but he was there on June 16th. So do I have a motion to approve the consent calendar with that correction?
So moved.
Second.
Any further discussion or comments? Not hearing any. Jen, will you take roll call?
Commissioner Thill.
Aye.
Commissioner Waldner.
Aye.
Commissioner Shaw.
Aye.
Commissioner Wire.
Aye.
Mayor Denner.
Aye. Not having anything under unfinished business, we'll move down into new business. Number one, Jen, you want to bring us up to speed on authorize the mayor to sign RUS Bulletin 1780-27 USDA Rural Development Water System Improvement Project.
I will. Thank you, Mr. Mayor. You will see, gentlemen, that the first three items under new business this evening are the RUS Bulletin 1780-27. These are a requirement of RD. Any of these RUS bulletins come directly from RD for our approval. So the ones in front of you this evening are the loan resolutions. I'll detail the first one here. The first one is for water. It states that the City of Madison is authorizing and providing for the incurrence of indebtedness for the water system improvement project to the tune of $7,749,000 pursuant to the provisions of SDCL Title IX, and that's municipal government. Whereas we intend to obtain assistance from the USDA for the planning, financing, and supervision of such undertaking and the purchasing of bonds lawfully issued. It goes on, there's 17 items under now therefore. It talks about prepared on its behalf an ordinance or resolution for the issuance of the bonds. There's some indemnify language there. Number 5 talks about default of payments. Number 6, we can't sell, transfer, lease. Place the proceeds of the bond on deposit in an account. Provide for the receipt of adequate revenues and the requirements of debt service. This is all just very standard financial requirements as we continue to move through this bond issue. Please note on number 17, accept a grant for $2,091,000.
Thank you, Jen. Do I have a motion to authorize the mayor to sign the RUS Bulletin 1780-27 USDA Rural Development Water System Improvement Project?
So approved.
Second.
Any further comments or discussion? Jen, on that, that $2 million that we receive in a grant is above the loan, right?
Correct.
Okay.
So the loan amount is on the front page there, the $7,749,000. That's the loan. The grant is number 17.
Okay.
references the grant.
Is there any further comments or discussion? Not hearing any. Jen, will you take roll call?
Commissioner Wire?
Aye.
Commissioner Shaw?
Aye.
Commissioner Waldner?
Aye.
Commissioner Thill?
Aye.
Mayor Denner?
Aye. Item number 2, Jen. Authorize the mayor to sign RUS Bulletin 1780-27 USDA Rural Development Wastewater Sanitary Sewer System Improvement Project.
Yes, sir. Same exact resolution, except for where we plug and play on these. You will note that this one is for the wastewater sanitary sewer system improvement project. Dollar amount of $3,214,000. Also references SDCL Title IX. However, on the flip side, number 17, no grant on this one. Therefore, those are zeroed out. Once again, all same 17 bulletins, exactly the same as the water that we just approved.
Okay. Do I have a motion to authorize the mayor to sign RUS Bulletin 1780-27 USDA Rural Development Wastewater Sanitary Sewer System Improvement Project?
So moved.
Second.
Any further comments, discussion? Not hearing any. Jen, will you take roll call?
Commissioner Shaw?
Aye.
Commissioner Waldner?
Aye.
Commissioner Wire?
Aye.
Commissioner Thill?
Aye.
Mayor Denner?
Aye. Item 3, authorize the mayor to sign RUS Bulletin 1780-27 USDA Rural Development Storm Sewer System Improvement Project.
Okay, same explanation here. This one is for the storm sewer system improvement project. Dollar amount of $3,434,000. And once again on this, there's no grant.
Okay. Do I have a motion to authorize the mayor to sign RUS Bulletin 1780-27 USDA Rural Development Storm Sewer System Improvement Project?
So moved.
Second.
I got a motion and a second. Any further comments, discussion? Not hearing any. Jen, will you take roll call?
Commissioner Wire?
Aye.
Commissioner Waldner?
Aye.
Commissioner Shaw?
Aye.
Commissioner Thill?
Aye.
Mayor Denner?
Aye. Jen, item number 4, authorize the mayor to sign sub-recipient agreement, State of South Dakota Department of Public Safety Hazard Mitigation Grant Program funding for disaster number DR 4469.
Yes, sir. Thank you. You have before you a very canned, if I will, sub-recipient agreement between the state of South Dakota and the city of Madison. This is for our hazard mitigation grant program funding, disaster number DR 4469. If you read through this at all, number 2 and number 3 reference Exhibit A. At this time, as per the state, there is no Exhibit A. They would like us to approve this agreement knowing that Exhibit A is forthcoming. Exhibit A, they did send me an example of what an Exhibit A will look like. It is federal award identification, and the explanation that was given to me is they simply don't have all of the details to plug into this exhibit yet. They're asking that we go ahead and approve the sub-recipient agreement. I did have Mr. Jenks take a peek at it. He was comfortable with it. Also agreed that it's a very canned agreement and changes probably wouldn't be accepted anyway. You will see another one of these, FYI, you'll see another one of these hopefully next week. It will look pretty much the same for our COVID-19 grant funding that we're working on.
Okay, thank you. Do I have a motion to authorize the mayor to sign subrecipient agreement, State of South Dakota Department of Public Safety Hazard Mitigation Grant Program funding for disaster number DR 4469?
So approved. Second.
Any comments or discussion? Not hearing any. Jen, will you take roll call vote, please?
Commissioner Shaw,
Aye.
Commissioner Waldner,
Aye.
Commissioner Wire,
Aye.
Commissioner Thel,
Aye.
Mayor Denner.
Aye. Item 5, either Chad or Brad wants to start on this one. Authorize the mayor to sign consent of notice letter, new circular wireless PCS LLC AT&T site alteration 526 Northwest 4th Street.
I'll speak to that, Mr. Mayor. Thank you.
Okay.
We have on the water tower two different cellular companies, Verizon and AT&T. They currently have their antennas up on there. AT&T wants to replace their existing antennas with new antennas, and it'll enhance the capabilities here in the area for the cellular network. And this is allowing them to access the tower pursuant to our lease agreement to put in these new antennas. You won't really notice it. They're about the same as what's up there, but there's something different inside of them that makes them better. So that's what's going to go on. There is some equipment that's going to go on the ground, and we're going to meet with them and find out exactly where that's going to go so they don't hamper any access to the tower for maintenance or future demolition of the bowl of the tower. So that meeting's forthcoming. We haven't set that yet, but that's something that's going to be coming up. But otherwise, we've all looked at it and agreed that it was in the spirit of the agreement that we already have, and would be authorized once the commission approves it.
Strictly just providing them access up to the tower to replace, that's all we're doing.
Yes, and it'll probably be a third-party vendor. It won't be AT&T. It'll be a third-party, like, I forget the name of the one that was there the other day, but there's, like Vertical Limits or something like that. It'll be a company name that'll show up in their stuff trucks, and they'll go up there and they'll do the actual work. So
Okay.
it'll be a vendor that does the work for, contractor that does the work for AT&T on a regular basis. But yeah, it's just giving them the access to climb the tower. Pursuant to our agreement, they're supposed to give us, I believe it's at least 24 hours notice and that type of stuff. So.
Okay.
And there'll be, if I may, Mr. Mayor.
Yep.
This is Chad Comas. There'll be a building permit approved where they'll submit these documents and we'll have a record of it and so on. In addition to these records were created by this approval.
Okay. Do I have a motion to approve the mayor to sign consent and notice of letter, new senior wireless PCS LLC AT&T site alteration 526 Northwest 4th Street?
So moved. So moved. I'll second that.
Got that, Jen?
Gotcha.
Okay. Any comments or discussion on it? Not hearing any. Jen, will you take roll call vote?
Commissioner Thel,
Aye.
Commissioner Waldner,
Aye.
Commissioner Shaw,
Aye.
Commissioner Wire,
Aye.
Mayor Denner.
Aye. Item 6, Chad, authorize the mayor to sign change order number 2, Banner Association, Inc., J&J Earthworks, Inc., Water System Improvement Project, Phase 1A.
Yes, thank you, Aaron. Members of the commission, including the agenda packet is the 3-page document, 4-page, excuse me, which is the change order. This change order is actually with our construction, part of the construction project, not with Banner Associates, so it's for J&J. Banner is the engineer on this. There was, about a month ago, we approved a change order for a couple of, I think there was 3 services that were undetermined that were there during the construction as we're installing the water main and sewer main. Come across those that go to a house or go to a house down the side street or something like that. We have to reconnect them. We had coordinated with rural development staff about timely approval of those. and such, and we utilized a memo, much like the memo that you see included to this dated July 13th. And then that memo needs to be promptly followed up by a change order. And so this is basic, and we settled on the process, if you will, that we probably have to process a change order every month or so. We have a monthly pay application that's due, and our rural development staff is usually at those meetings on a monthly basis, and so just keep up with some of the rural development requirements and such for timely approval and such. We incorporated these into a change order. These are relatively small items. As you've noted from looking into this, this change order is for about just under $4,500. When I say small, I mean relative to the overall size of the project. I mean, every dollar is important, obviously. So that's what the change order is for. We may have to amend the process, and that is related to other items on the agenda to accomplish even more prompt official approval via change order due to some, I guess I'll say some revisions or different interpretations that RD has indicated to us recently. I got to talk about that later, but yeah, I would recommend approval. We have to reconnect the services, and it's all unit price work, so we have established pre-bid prices for them. We'll just extend the number of units. And I'd be happy to stand by for questions.
Do I have a motion to authorize the mayor to sign change order number 2, Banner Association, Inc., J&J Earthworks, Inc., Water System Improvement Project, Phase 1A?
So moved.
Second.
Chad, I had a question for you. We're still under budget on this, right?
Yes.
Okay.
As you know, this is a 3-year project. Ms. Eimers had talked about different components of the project earlier in this agenda. Northward of $20 million is the entire project, but focusing in on this phase, we are well under budget. The bid estimate for this 3-year project was about 5.2, as I recall. The next closest bidder was 4.6 million, and so I'll just give you a perspective of where we're at.
Thank you.
I have a question for Chad. On the agenda, it said change order number 2, and we got change order number 1 and 2 and 3. Where did 1 and 3 come in at?
This document, the first page is in the labeling. It's called change order 2, listed as page 1 of 1. And then there is also a second document that creates a table with a summary of the changes. That's also labeled 1 of 1. But what you are referring to is the memo dated July 13th, where the field gentleman for Banner Associates, Cedric Hay, there was 3 different items, 2 water services and 1 sanitary sewer service. He had labeled them change item number 1, change item number 2, and change item number 3. That's just his labeling mechanism on that July 13th memo.
So we don't have to have 1 and 3 on the agenda to approve this tonight?
1, 2, and 3, as listed in the memo, are included in the agenda. The total of the costs, if you add up the items from the memo, add up to what the proposed change is in this change order.
It's broke out.
1A is the overarching
Okay.
document, and then the other ones are just a piece of that document.
We'll have him
Checking to make
change his
sure.
labeling better next time, so it doesn't add potential confusion.
Well, I just now noticed it, so.
Yeah.
Any further comments, discussion? Not hearing any. Jen, will you take roll call vote?
Commissioner Waldner?
Commissioner Waldner,
Yes, I.
Commissioner Shaw,
Aye.
Commissioner Ware,
Aye.
Commissioner Thel,
Aye.
and Mayor Denner.
Aye. Number 7 is yours, Chad. Adopt resolution number 2020-21, grant limit authority for authorizing change on public infrastructure improvement project.
Yes, thank you, Mayor. Members of the agenda, or Commission, excuse me. Included in the agenda is a one-page resolution read by the mayor. It does grant limited authority for authorizing changes on public infrastructure projects, and it stems from really this rural development project item that we just talked about. Rural development, after initially approving this process, if you will, that we've used recently with a memo from the field person followed up by a change order, has revisited that, and they believe that it would be most appropriate to, instead of Mr. Hay, who created the memo attached to change order 2 that we just talked about, instead of having a memo and then change order, they suggest that we just move it right into a change order promptly. And as you're digging in water main and such like that, sometimes it's appropriate to advise the contractor to proceed promptly. And it can save costs in the long run if you don't do that, then you have to go back and install components or pieces that are more expensive and less ideal from a constructability standpoint. So in working with our finance officer, Mayor Denner, and our city attorney, this language was put together. I drafted it primarily and shared it with them to lay out the whereas as to why we're doing this, to allow the opportunity to approve changes, smaller changes, it's all relative again, in short order to avoid delays and potential costs from delays and so on during construction projects. And so moving into the resolution itself, the last paragraph, it authorizes the mayor or the city engineer to sign change orders and approve them up to $15,000 on public improvement projects. And then if that is done, the immediate meeting afterwards, that has to come on the city commission agenda for acknowledgement, so that you understand where it is with budget-wise and so on. Of course, during this process, there will be collaboration and coordination with the finance office on what's in the budget and such like that. But to give the opportunity to deal with items that come up on construction, I would recommend that we consider approving this resolution.
Thank you, Chad. Do I have a motion to adopt resolution number 2020-21, grant limited authorization for change on public infrastructure improvement project?
So move.
Second.
I'll second.
Okay, I got a motion and a second. Any comments or discussion?
Mr. Mayor,
Yes.
just one quick question on this. Chad, you said that it'll come back to the commission for acknowledgement. So what if the commission does not approve it?
Yeah, that's a good question.
Or it's already approved and then we just acknowledge it and just roll over and say, yep, just run with it?
Yes, what I would say, Commissioner Waldner, is I talked with our attorney a fair amount on this, and we considered the word ratify and versus acknowledged. And he may be on the line. I know I talked to him earlier, but he can chime in as well. But if you put ratify, then in that event, the premise of this resolution is no, because really you haven't approved it in that meeting before. So I would say you are correct in saying that the commission, it's approved. Once it's signed by the city engineer or the mayor, it's approved. And it's a limited amount, it's $15,000. You are delegating to the judgment of the city engineer and the mayor in that case, if that's appropriate. They could always, either the mayor, myself, or whomever's in our position could refuse if there's concern, and then just say, hey, we just have to wait and go to the commission level. But if we believe in our judgment that it's appropriate to proceed, and we approve it, it would be approved. And then the commission would only be acknowledging at that next meeting, yes.
Mike, this is David. Mike, this is David Jenks. The concept of the language, and basically everything Chad said is correct. But I do want to be clear, the concept of the language is giving our engineer's office some real authority to go ahead and keep these things moving and using their expertise and their real-time knowledge of the situation to approve these. The concept of ratification is to make sure that the commission's being kept informed. You won't have veto authority, so to speak, over an approved change order to a certain limit, but you'll be kept aware each week in order to monitor the project, in order to monitor overruns, expenditures, etc. And certainly, if in the course of the project there were problems, or the commission thought there were problems, it could take further action to retake some control, perhaps. But the commission is, and by the way, rightly so in my opinion, giving the authority to the engineer's office to manage the change orders on this project.
Yeah, excellent explanations. And I was mainly just making sure, or trying to figure out, because, man, if you approve that out on the street and then it comes back to the commission and then it, doesn't go through, that could be a huge mess, not only for the city, but for the contractor, for Chad. So, yep. All right, I'm good with that. Thank you.
Any further comments or discussion? Not hearing any. Jen, will you take roll call?
Commissioner Wire,
Aye.
Commissioner Shaw,
Aye.
Commissioner Waldner,
Aye.
Commissioner Thill,
Aye.
Mayor Denner.
Aye. Item 8, this one's for Brad. Adopt resolution number 2020-22, establish fee for tapping water mains and meter charges.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. You should have in your packet the proposed resolution for establishing the fees for the water tapping and meter charges. The last time this was updated was in 2013, and our meters have gone up in price since then, and it was to the point that we were actually losing money on the installation just for purchasing the meter, not covering any labor, and it was time to update these and get these to where we were covering our costs.
Brad, did you run this through a committee, or did you just do it on your own, out of curiosity?
We just did it with the previous one on our own, so to speak, in-house.
Okay.
Do I have a motion to adopt resolution number 2020-22, establish fee for tapping water mains and meter charge?
Make a motion, we table this till we get that labor and service vehicle fee out of there, because I don't feel it's right with us just buying pickups, and these guys are being paid to work from 7 to 4 anyway, so why do we have to hook the taxpayers for a half an hour increments on service and the vehicles to go up and make a water tap or change a meter out? I think it's time that we just table it and discuss it.
I actually would second that to table it. I would like to just get some more information and gather a few things on that, to be honest with you. Just out of curiosity more than anything.
Do you need to know how long we're going to table it?
That
No.
wasn't part of the motion, so
Okay.
until further notice.
I got a motion and a second to table the item number 8, adopt resolution number 2020-22, establish fees for tapping water mains and meter charges. there any other discussion or comments?
Mr. Mayor,
Yes.
I guess I'm going kind of along the lines that Commissioner Bill was talking about. I mean, isn't that their job? The water department? I mean, I see charging for the meter, that's an absolute, I mean, that's only makes sense, but we're already paying them by the hour, isn't that part of their job to go do this?
Mr. Mayor, if I can.
Yep.
The answer to that is that the service connection from the main to the home is a responsibility of the homeowner. And so we charge them just the same as if they had a contractor coming out to do that work for the work that we do as part of the ownership of that, you know, from the main to the home. So we're being consistent with everything else we do. And so, you know, from the point that we do the connection and do the tapping on the main, the contractor charges them for every inch going back to the house. So we're just being consistent with what's the requirement in the ordinance, which says that from the main, which is the point of connection, to the home is 100% responsibility of the homeowner or property owner.
So then what are you actually charging for?
We're charging for the saddle, corporation valve, and the labor to install it.
I see charging for the parts and all that, but you're paying your guys, whether they're doing anything or not, you're paying your guys.
The thing is that we're doing it for an individual homeowner, that individual homeowner will reap a benefit from the city doing the work for free. And that's not fair to everybody else that doesn't get that done. The rest of the citizens.
I guess I still don't follow you. You're saying from where you hook up out in the street,
Yes.
that's yours.
That's the homeowner.
From there to the house is mine.
Yes, from the main to the home is the homeowner's responsibility.
You're not really doing anything for me. You're hooking up out at the street, and you're getting a benefit to the city by selling me water.
But if not for the homeowner, we wouldn't have to do that work. We wouldn't have to spend the money on the saddle. We wouldn't have to spend the money on the cork, and we wouldn't have to send the guys out there with a vehicle, with the tools to tap it and hook it up so that the contractor can finish up.
I mean, I see charging for all the parts and everything you're doing there. But your guys and your trucks, you're paying them whether they're sitting in the office or whether they're out working.
But they're not working for an individual customer, an individual owner.
If I may too, it's considered, Kristen can back me up here too, taxable issues on this too is considered a service. It's considered a service, so there's different taxable issues that falls underneath our contractor's excise tax, so there's taxable issues too.
Well, we got it tabled. We're going to get some discussion, George, between and see what we can do on that.
You already got a $25 fee in there per month for services. Where did that disappear into? He said he put it in last spring and it didn't. What happened to that? That $25 times 12 is quite a bit of money. So that should take care of your hooking up your meter.
It doesn't, Mr. Mayor, if I may.
Yep.
The $25 fee is generally considered your maintenance fee for the entire system. The way that this should work is that we have to have maintenance of the system and have to do all these things that we have to do just to have a system. That comes out of your base fee. When you buy water from us and you pay for the consumption amount, that pays for all the purchase of the water, the making of the water, that type of stuff. The base fee also pays for things like the improvements that we're talking about with rural development. So those things all come out of your base fee. And then you purchase what you have for, if you will, marginal costs for things that we have to buy, the cost of goods, that type of stuff to produce the water, that comes out of your consumption fee. And so those two things are how we normally do rate analysis and come up with what we need for rates.
Brad, do you have the ordinance? What ordinance number is it that the homeowner has the responsibility for the line coming into the house, you know?
I believe it's in chapter 22 or 23. I don't remember. It's one of those two. And I'd have to look up the exact section of it. It starts out with water, and then which is the sewer partway in, and there's fees for both of those, and it's spelled out in that ordinance. I don't have the exact number memorized.
And that's part of why I wanted to table it, just because I want to go back and do a little reading on it.
Right.
So that we can come back and just make an educated decision. That's all.
And then the electric, it's the transformer's distribution point. So that's all the distribution points are from basically the main, if you will, to the home.
Sure.
All of them, so.
All right, we will table, we have this on table, and any further comments, discussion? Not hearing any. Jen, will you take roll call?
Commissioner Waldner,
Aye.
Commissioner Thill,
Aye.
Commissioner Shaw,
Aye.
Commissioner White,
Aye.
Mayor Dennis.
Aye. Item number 9, update on COVID. I guess I haven't have anything to say. Does anybody else?
Biggest thing I'm going to keep telling people is you got to keep wearing masks. Our active numbers continue to climb, and in my world, I need people in masks so we can get kids back into school. So I would encourage people, as you're out in public, in businesses, just put a mask on. I know it's not the most enjoyable thing in the world. The last thing I want to do is sit here with a mask on, but it's also what's best for our community to get some of this stopped. So our goal is to get our active cases back to 0. So please continue that. We do appreciate those of you that have taken the active role.
Okay. Anybody else on COVID-19? Thank you, Commissioner Shaw, on that. We'll move into public comment. I want to make sure everyone understands that public comment means public comment. We do appreciate you bringing your concerns to the commission, but we need to follow guidelines very closely. You will be limited to 3 minutes, and there will be no discussion or action taken based on your comment from the commission at this time. But your comments may be the base for future agenda items and action. Again, we appreciate you coming to the meeting and expressing your comments. First person on is George Lee. Topic is downtown.
I think you need to give a little more than 3 minutes, maybe 5, but anyway, I'll try. I was walking up and down Main Street trying to help some ladies find a building to go into. And I couldn't believe all the places that are closed on Main Street. And I couldn't believe the repair they look the front of those stores. I think the chamber, the development corp, I think they ought to give these business owners that have these empty buildings an interest-free loan just to perk up the front. And I think they should spend some time, not just out on the city limits getting business, but they need to spend some time getting some mom and pop businesses back downtown. Our downtown's looking pretty shabby. And I think you're giving them money, tax dollars, I think they could help it a little bit in that way. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. You did make it under 3 minutes too, George.
Okay.
Thank you.
Yep.
Pat Mullen, Crickwall, Egan to Hearth.
I'll speak without my mask so you can. If I stand corrected, okay? But if I remember right, the brick wall and the creek coming through Madison, the WPA project, and when they signed it off to the city, they signed maintenance of that in perpetuity. In other words, way off until ever plus 1 year, okay? From Hearth over to Egan or Egan back to Hearth, there was a lot of devastation last fall as far as the walls of those creeks crumbling, for lack of a better. One of them really take is right beside my old house, okay? And that's devastating. I know it's budget time coming up and stuff like that, but it's also been a year. And it sure would be nice to see some progress in a positive vein to reestablish that area. Actually, it's a pretty part of the town. You come through Memorial Park area, down through, and that's an old project that is really great. Now, on the flip side, when they took out the bridge way back when, we happened to live there, there was a little sign that said WPA on it, the old bridge. And there was an engineer from a company that we farm out jobs to, and the engineer's there, and he says, yeah, it's a WPA project. And that guy had the audacity to say, "What's WPA?" I said, Works Progress Administration. He said, "What's that?" So, anyway, tidbit history. And please, get that thing correct. Okay, thank you.
Thank you. Jim Casanova, dirt clean out, creeks and others, and spraying weeds.
Memorial Creek was supposed to be cleaned out last fall, and Gary's doing a good job on a lot of these creeks, but they gotta hire an outside contractor to do this. It was supposed to be done last fall, but didn't come. So I mean, it's a disaster. They did mow the weeds off in that big bunch up there the other day. But I drove around town today, and all these creek banks have got a lot of bounty trees growing again, a lot of weeds. And I think you can spray these weeds and kill them with a good chemical. And I think that should be taken care of this year. The water's down, probably the lowest it's been in 3 years. Now is the time to do it, and not wait for fall rains like we hope we don't get. So, I appreciate it. Gary's doing a good job, but he needs help. Thank you.
Thank you. Any announcements? Not hearing any announcements. Nothing under exec session. We will go into our 2021 budget discussion. Or did you adjourn?
This meeting,
Okay.
please, and then yes.
We're, do I have a motion to adjourn?
So move.
Second.
We got a motion to adjourn and a second. All in favor, signify by aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Motion carried. Now we'll go into